Welcome to the After the Show movie podcast, brought to you by your hosts Ace Scully and Sid Talk. We're addicted to movies. Are you? Hello, welcome one and all. Welcome viewers, welcome listeners. Welcome Sid Talk.
I was gonna say, get around to the low woman on the totem pole, eh?
Yeah, you're the most important one.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
If I was the most important, we would record this and then just listen to it on repeat until next week and never share it with anyone.
And just have you talking, not me.
Okay, I'm down for this plan. That's not the before the after show discussion. Sure. It is. It was something to do with my nose feeling rattly. A little bit of something to do with IMDb.com not working properly.
Yes.
And this movie a little bit. And, it's a stretch for me to remember. It's been like 3 minutes ago.
As a movie fan, I feel like we take IMDb for granted. It does offer a lot of information, and we use it all the time. So I want to express
Are you trying to kiss up to the IMDb
I want to kiss
people?
up to them and express my thanks to them. Thank you, IMDb.
Very good.
Thank you. I wouldn't know shit about movies if it wasn't for you.
That is not true.
There
are other sources.
I would go somewhere else if
Correct.
it wasn't for you.
I don't know, like books? Oh my God.
That doesn't sound as good though. All right, Sid Talk, let's get on with this fine podcast. It is Saturday, January the 11th. This is After the Show, your weekly movie review podcast. And on episode 873, we're looking at a new movie called Nightbitch. It's a 2024 release. It's out now on streaming, rated R. Its runtime is 1 hour and 39 minutes, and it's from Fox Searchlight Pictures. Sid Talk, can you give us the synopsis of the movie Nightbitch?
I'm going to give you a synopsis of why you were just talking. You're very cheery when you say Nightbitch.
Yes.
The synopsis is, have you had extra caffeine? I don't know.
No.
Synopsis is a woman who is exploring the choices she's made in reference to how she's living her life as a mother.
Aye. All right, I'll give you the one off the box.
And there's dogs.
The one off the box says, a woman pauses her career to be a stay-at-home mum, but soon her domesticity takes a surreal turn.
See, they're making it sound, even the cover, it just doesn't fit with the movie. I mean, it's semi-accurate, but it gives you it leads you down a path.
All right, Sid Talk, the movie Nightbitch. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I feel like it's very well made. I love Amy Adams, so I could just watch her all day, every day. And the children who played the child, amazing. And yet it has that upper layer crust of, I don't know, something just not quite.
Can I tell you?
Yeah. You're going to tell me what I'm thinking? Great.
Okay, I didn't enjoy this movie.
Okay.
That's all.
Oh my God. All right then.
But like you, I do enjoy Amy Adams.
Absolutely.
And that's what I took away from it. I enjoyed
Okay.
Amy Adams. But the movie itself, what you were trying to express there was, there's a air of, not even an air, it's pretentious to all hell.
Yes.
And also it contradicts itself a lot. Did you find that?
How so?
That she wants, well, we haven't explained the plot. So it's a lady. She is a stay-at-home mom. We see the day-to-day stay-at-home mom stuff for an extended period at the beginning, just to show you how mundane.
Yeah, and we're instantly introduced because she has a fantasy in her mind in the grocery store of how awful it is for her to be stay-at-home mom.
Right.
It's in her mind.
She hates it.
And that's in the first 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
you know immediately, okay, so there's something else going on here.
So it's not like, she's just looking after this toddler. She doesn't like it. You know, you instantly know she doesn't like it. It's tedious, it's mundane, it's messy. What else is it? It's just
repetition, I think.
And it's also taken away her life. And her life is a pretentious art person. See, this is where the message is kind of.
I got you.
Yeah. So
like, how would anyone want to aspire to be that? Is that
right? I understand the artist part, but she's...
I know what you're thinking. I would rather spend a whole day with a toddler than a pretentious art critic person.
You know, when she goes for a meal in the middle of the movie with the pretentious people.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah, that actually seemed worse than being at home with the toddler, right? So it has messaging, but then it crosses its messaging, and then you're like, okay, so she hated being a mother, and she wanted to get back to pretentious art gallery life. But then she loves being a mother. She keeps saying mixed messaging for me. And aside from the obvious, which we mentioned in the when it takes a surreal turn, there's this body horror type thing going on in the middle of the movie where she's actually turning into a dog.
But is she?
But
See,
is
that's
she?
the thing. That's the part that I kind of disconnect, is that if you're going to do this idea that she is needing to get back to some sort of primal animalistic motherhood thing, right? So that's what she says. We are animals. It's violent being a mother. You're giving life to the species. I get all that. I get
it's
all that.
It's a lot of this, like,
but then
it's so hard.
But then we kind of back off on that. So we see her fantasize about saying things to people, and then we're supposed to believe that she might be turning into the dog at night. We know that that's not true. So she goes outside, she starts digging in the dirt, she starts running and panting. She sees on her body the growth of hair on her back. Even her child comments, so we know it's there. Mm-hmm. But then she imagines some sort of tail growing and extra nipples growing, but we're not committed to this one way or the other. We're not committed to, like, she sees it in the mirror and then we flip around and, oh, it's not really there, but it's sort of like something bubbling inside of her telling her. And I think that's their actual message, is that something that your instinct to be the whole person that you want to be, which doesn't include just staying at home all day making hash browns for your kid. You know, she's got to dig deep and find it again. But I mean, it gets lost in this sort of pretentiousness, and I didn't like that part.
And it doesn't, like you say, don't commit. Like the part of her, maybe she's turning into a dog, maybe she's imagining it. It doesn't ever really go anywhere.
I mean, she actually kills their cat.
She does.
But the way we see it is she's dreaming or fantasizing that she has turned into the dog. And then she attacks the cat, which in real life every day she doesn't like the cat anyway. And then the reality is she did kill the cat. And she just tells her friends, I killed the cat.
And then when she tells her friends, who are just other normal mothers, that she killed a cat, they've all also killed some animal.
Or let an animal.
Or let it go. Or done something cruel to an animal.
That's what you're hearing.
Yeah.
You're not on board with this whole, like, let the animals die. I get you. We're describing it in a confusing way because it comes off a little bit confusing. There are two separate things going on here. For me, exploring the life of a woman who had her career, she got married, she had a kid, and then part of the theme of her marriage is that when she had the kid, she told her husband, I just want to stay at home. And he was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And now she resents that. That bothers me. I don't like that whiny ass bullshit that she pulls on him. Like, you should have told me not to. And he was like, I was trying to be supportive. And then later he apologizes for that. I'm like, no, that's horse shit. She's being passive aggressive, which she calls her on.
She's being a night bitch.
Oh, it's making sense now.
Because she does really, like, there is a scene that I really liked in the movie, and it's the scene where her and her husband sit down and she you know, what you just described. She's telling him about how she feels and how he just went along with it. But he said, well, you said that you wanted to do this and you were all fine with it.
Yeah.
I can't read your mind. You have to tell me something.
Yeah, but then later they break that actual reality down that she's the one who has made this choice in her life.
Right.
And now he's supposed to feel bad about it. I'm not on board with that.
Yeah, so he kind of like suffers because she is terrible.
She's lost herself. Now, let me tell you a brief story about my mother. My mother, who passed away just a couple of months ago, had told me stories about when she was raising us all. There's 4 of us when we were kids. My mom was 15 when she had my brother, who's 10 years older than me. So you can imagine 3 kids by the age of 20, and then I was born when she was 26. And I didn't know any of this part until she was ill, and we would talk about a lot of things. And she said she felt like now this is a woman who doesn't, I don't know how to describe it. She said she disappeared. Like
Right.
she said, I wasn't even myself at all. It's like I disappeared. Now this is her in the 70s thinking this, 60s and 70s, and then into the 80s, as we're all getting older and growing older, and that it just became like she didn't matter. And I felt that theme, I understand, right?
Yeah, in this movie, yes.
You get the responsibility you take on when you choose to take care of anything in life, not just if you have children, but a marriage, a house, a home, a business, animals, a farm, a growing organization, whatever it is that you've chosen to take responsibility for. It's a lot, right? It's fucking a lot. And I think some people, and mothers particularly, it sounds like, and it seems from my observations, you don't know what you're getting into. No matter how much we've seen it in life, you just don't know, right? And that's what this lady, it's like, I agreed to this. I think at the time, if we really think about her, and this isn't in the movie, I had to add it.
Right.
She was probably equally pretentious as those people.
Oh, I 100% think she was.
And so when she found out she was pregnant, she was like, oh, I'm going to just take some time off and I'm going to be the stay-at-home mommy. It'll be so awesome and so cool, right? I think that she bought into that
right
perception.
And the movie does portray that part well.
A little bit, yeah.
So somebody has a life of one sort, and then they have a child, and their life just becomes a complete different thing.
True.
So it does show that. But I feel like even I've never been through these things. I'm not a father, and
Nope, not a mother.
But you've brought up a child in a way. You looked after your sister's child a lot.
Yeah, and your whole day.
So you understand that.
Your whole day is that. It's Blue's Clues and Nick Jr. in the morning and poopy diapers and are you hungry? Are you tired? Why are you crying? Do you need to walk? And then also you have to, the weight of teaching this human being about life.
Yeah.
I do it to this day, and he's 28 years old. Like, you know what I mean? And my nieces and my other nephew, that there's this urge to be like, oh, I'm in the role of like, you're new to this world. I need to inform you of everything. I feel like she feels the weight of that as well. Because she talks about, I'm a terrible mother. Like, I didn't teach him to sleep on his own when he was a baby, and now I've fucked him up for his whole life. You know what I mean? She feels the weight of all of that.
Because I needed that. I needed him to lie on me, so I didn't bother.
So there's a lot of it that's really solid, and I get on board with that whole idea that you've lost yourself and you need to kind of either figure it out, embrace what you're doing, or balance it out, as we all try to do.
Right.
But then throwing in the whole primal dog thing.
It didn't work for me.
As if it was, you're trying to say she's either got like delusional, which we don't want to say because it's actually helping her, or it's just all in her mind. Like, and it's the thing that's helping her. I don't know. I felt like it was a disconnect there. It's like two different movies going on, right?
Like a mishmash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were scenes like where she was explaining to her husband when he comes home from work about, oh yeah, now we, the son sleeps in a dog bed and we eat from dog dishes, and and he's kind of looking at her going like, she going fucking crazy or something.
So I didn't think that was I like that.
No, I'm saying that was good. There's scenes like that are good. But then there are scenes like other scenes where she she goes outside. Actually, you see her turn into a dog.
Yeah.
Like a American Werewolf in London style type thing. Turn into this dog. And then it's like, I think I knew at that point, well, she's not really turning into a dog. But if you think about it, because there is a dead cat, what is she doing? Is she wringing the cat's neck or?
Exactly. The disconnect is we don't get to see or understand.
And it's all matter of fact.
The difference between her fantasizing / imagining or fully giving in to the urges of feeling like she wants to go out and be the night bitch.
Like I would have liked if she did have to go outside and turn into a dog, which I don't think she has to, because I don't think the movie really needed it. It felt like an extra thing.
Agree.
And if she did go out and turn into a dog, I would have preferred the scene to end with her stood outside it cuts to her just stood outside and she's got hold of the cat and the cat's dead in her hands.
Right. Whereas we kind of do that because she later admits to her friends that she killed the cat.
She did.
Still, yeah, I know what you're saying.
But there's a lot of like, you're like, okay. And then she runs down the street and all the dogs follow her and dogs really like her in the park. They're all...
I never fully...
No.
I don't...
No,
and then
I mean,
are we supposed to be led to believe that the other mothers that she has met, they're the dogs, but then they're dogs all day long.
Right.
It just has I feel like it was trying to be cool and interesting, and it just missed it a little bit. I said it's like somebody watched the movie Year of the Dog and then decided, oh, what if she thinks she's the dog? If you haven't seen Year of the Dog, it's very good.
Yeah.
Very good flick.
Yeah, that's a better movie, actually. Dealing with emotions and dogs. Because this is what this movie's trying to do. But I think if you subtracted any references to her turning into a dog in this movie, it would be a decent drama.
Oh, I got you.
You know, just the drama between her, the child, and the husband, and people she meets along the way. It's actually an interesting drama. The stuff that's in there to make it edgy doesn't work for me.
I think you could address the whole primal, I've lost myself, I need to go back and reset, basically, is what I hear from this whole wipe away all the domesticity. Because she even comments at one point when her child has been pretending to be a dog. And the husband says, so he's wearing a collar sometimes? She goes, well, sometimes. He wanted to be domesticated. I was against it, but...
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, there's a little passive-aggressive comment right there that she allowed herself to become domesticated, and now she needs to reset.
That sounds very pretentious.
I feel like... I don't know. I feel like that's all right.
There's a bunch of it where I was like, oh. Like it feels clunky as well when it's going down. You're like, oh.
A little clunky.
Yeah.
But still, I enjoy the whole thing. I have to say, because of Amy Adams.
I can say I didn't.
You didn't enjoy Amy?
It's like an hour and 40-minute movie as well, which is fairly brief if you take the credits off. 90 minutes. It actually felt way longer to me. And I don't normally think that. I know we watched Gladiator 2 last week that was nearly 3 hours long, and it breezed by me, you know? This, I was like, oh, wow, this is really a long movie. And then when I looked, I was like, oh, it isn't a long movie. Weird. It must be because I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate.
Yes, I enjoy Amy Adams. And I think she did a really good job here. She was like out there. She just threw herself into it, right?
Absolutely.
She was eating out of a dog bowl. She was crazy stuff in the movie.
Can you imagine what my mind was doing when they were eating out of the dog bowl?
You were thinking, this is gross. Please
stop.
Please take me away from this movie.
Please stop making sounds with your mouths because I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not holding that against the movie because I understand.
And she does throw herself in, and she does crazy. I mean, she's on all fours in the garden.
I don't know if it's crazy. I mean she growls at people in the restaurant and grabs somebody's burger and then runs off with it. You know, that kind of stuff. But I think the idea of letting go of all the rules of how you're supposed to be, you know me, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
And so she listens to that song. What was it? Try to be weird or just be stupid or something with the
Weird Al Yankovic.
Was that Weird Al Yankovic?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then she kind of lets her freak fly, right? Freak flag fly or whatever they say.
But then she basically gets back to being a pretentious art person.
True.
So
yes.
That's
her goal was to get back to that end. But then, of course, we have to squeeze in there the comment that she loves being a mommy.
Yes.
And she loves her child. So we don't want to...
We don't want to have it... Because there's portions of the movie where I was going, wow, people are going to hate her in this because she's like saying that she hates all this shit being a mother.
Right, but we have to pull back on that because we have to make sure that everybody doesn't get their feelings hurt about being a mommy because it's very important. We get it, but it was trying too hard.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it's definitely a mixed message movie. It feels like it's not gelled together perfectly. Maybe the book it's based on a book. Maybe the book's more fleshed out in a way, fleshed out dogs.
Gotcha.
But this, no, it was a miss for me, a real miss.
That's
and
unfortunate.
I love Amy Adams. And I thought she was exceptional in it, but I didn't like the movie. You know, sometimes you're just not with it.
I get you.
I wasn't with it.
I was kind of half with it, so I get what you're saying.
It's got a strange vibe about it. It doesn't know if it is a comedy or not.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's a bit of that too. Like, you're like, this is kind of funny, but they're not really playing it for laughs. And this is serious, but it seems funny. Like there's a bit of that going on. And that's not my problem. That's just like, I'm like, this is supposed to be a dramatic, serious scene. Yeah, it seems a bit ridiculous. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
All right, let's get on to the cast. Amy Adams plays Mother. Here's another pretentious thing.
Yeah.
The characters are called Mother, Husband, and Son.
They have no name.
No name.
And she doesn't call when she's looking for him in the park. She's like, baby, baby. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Are we trying to be really cool here and not name the child?
Yes. She did a really good job with what she has, I think.
Oh, I think she's awesome.
I mean, she embodies what that person's supposed to be.
And I do a lot of the dialogue and a lot of her. I like the interaction with her friend ladies that she makes. I like the librarian lady, that relationship. I mean, I like it. I like all of that. I think there's nothing weak about how they talk to each other or the fantasy sequences where she kind of really says what's on her mind. And then you go back a minute and you realize, oh, she didn't really say that. She didn't really slap him.
Right.
I like all of that because it's very real. Like her real self is coming out. I love all that. So I don't feel like it's weak in the character department. It's just trying to layer that big idea of her, domesticity versus her wildness.
Yeah.
And using the dog analogy. I don't know.
Meh. Scoot McNairy plays her husband. What do you think of Scoot?
Well, I'm not a huge fan of Scoot, but in this, I appreciated
the scene where they spoke to each other at the table near the end. It was very good.
It was good, except I got mad at him, and I shouldn't have got mad at him for apologizing to her.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was bullshit. That was like, no.
That's where it messes up a bit. It's like, oh, it did something good.
It's not his fault that she made choices.
And then he's like, you're so awesome, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I know you think I'm awesome, so you don't need to tell me that.
I'm not sorry. I think he was good in this because he really did put his emotions out there on that particular scene. And
True.
Then he also came across as sometimes a bit asshole-ish and sometimes just nothing.
Kind of clueless.
Clueless, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got Ali Snowden and Emmett Snowden, who both played a little boy.
Amazing little kid actor.
The son's really funny.
I was impressed because they kind of just let them be kids because they actually have dialogue. They kind of drive different scenes and her interaction with them. I mean, yes, right up there. In fact, you see more of the kid than you do of Scoot McNairy.
Yeah, the kid says fuck at one point,
yeah.
Which is quite. See, that's where I was like, oh, is this going to be really funny, right? But maybe not.
Then they lost me.
Marielle Heller is the director. She also directed The Diary of a Teenage Girl, which we actually both liked.
Sure.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it, that one? So what do you think of direction here?
It's functional.
Yeah.
So we're going to say, and that's not a negative, that's just, it's functional. Amy Adams is an awesome performer, and so having her willingness to completely let go means she has some relationship with the director, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's just that the messaging is lost on.
If you've heard that, this is like she's going to turn into a dog, the turning into a dog scene is pretty poorly done. It didn't look great. It was like CG blend in, like, it looked like something off a TV show to me. It wasn't. I was like, oh, okay. I thought we were building to something, but really we're not.
You mean you wanted it to be like the American Werewolf in London?
Or the substance or something. I wanted it to go fucked up, but it never did it?
I get you. Okay, so your expectations might be part of your letdown. I got you.
Because it isn't that. It's not a horror movie. It's not a body horror movie. It actually says on IMDb, body horror movie.
But it's missing that completely.
Yeah, it's not that. It says here, this is how IMDb categorize it. Body horror, dark comedy, comedy, horror. I would say horror, no, it's not horror at all. Body horror, maybe. It's more of a dream sequence than anything. Comedy, maybe a little bit. I seriously would have made this personally as a really solid drama, like hardcore, emotional, pulls on your strings.
I don't know. That seems a bit pretentious as well.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, it sounds pretentious.
Thanks.
Anytime.
All right, IMDb reviews. IMDb. I'll say this again.
IMDb. Oh, no, that's not what you're saying.
No. IMDb reviews. What are those?
Those are reviews on a website called IMDb that you think you take for granted.
I do.
That's it. That's all it is. And these are the 1 stars because you think they're funny.
I do find them quite funny. The people who really hate the movies, they hate them.
But when you dislike a movie, you're very intrigued.
Yeah, I'm not really on a 1 star for this movie, but yeah, I could see why people would be. All right, first guy, confusing mess.
Fair enough.
That's not all of it.
Oh.
He says, Nightbitch is a howling disaster from the opening scene, which promises an intriguing premise but never delivers anything. It's clear the movie is a snooze fest wrapped in a pretentious bow. See, I totally agree with all that.
Oh, I don't think it's a snooze fest at all.
I think it was a snooze fest.
So you're both wrong.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Second one says, awful. This movie has some accuracy as to how a mother can feel raising a child. No doubt about it. There are relevancies and ways the film can relate to many people's lives. But it is terrible, and there is a horrific scene in the middle of the movie that is offensive. I shut the movie off immediately after the scene.
What was the scene?
It was either nipples or dog, change it into a dog, or the
cat getting killed?
Putting a needle in the tail thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't recommend watching this if you're an animal lover.
That could really disturb some people, yeah.
Yeah. And the third person says, turns out a film about women moaning about having kids and have their lives ruined, and that it's not fair that dad goes out to work and earn a living to keep them going. Garbage.
There's a person who kind of doesn't see the whole big picture. Got it.
Oh, he also says like a PS on the end because it's like a little, paragraph ends, some spacing. And then at the end he says, the acting is okay, but the audio is a bit weird and muffled.
Very good. Technical comments. Very good.
I didn't notice any weird and muffled, but...
No.
I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he had a pillow over his head or something.
Which would change the whole experience completely.
Yes. So let's give this movie a score. I'm going to give Nightbitch a solid 5 out of 10.
The more I think about it, I'm going for 6.5.
That's quite high.
It is. That's what I'm doing.
All right. 5 out of 10 for me.
Fair enough.
I disliked.
I get it. You disliked that.
Thumbs down, dislike. All right. Thank you to who made this movie? Fox Searchlight. Thank you to them. Thank you. Thank you for making me watch a movie I didn't like.
They didn't make you do anything. Oh my God.
All right. Thank you. Next week, we're going to look at the big, super big blockbuster thing called Wicked.
What I love is that people think because I love The Wizard of Oz that I have to be in love with everything. And you're one of those people. I'm like, I don't know until I see it. It doesn't matter what everyone says.
No.
I have to see it with my own eyeballs.
I don't love musicals. Never have.
I have to filter it through my own head. I didn't hate Pas d'Adieu or whatever the hell it was called.
Which one?
Pas d'Adieu. What was it? The Batman. The
Folie à Deux?
Folie à Deux. I didn't hate that.
The Batman.
And everyone told me I was supposed to. So who are these people?
Yeah, I didn't hate that. I just
didn't love it.
Didn't love it either.
Got it.
I don't love musicals, but I do like The Wizard of Oz. I quite like the world of The Wizard of Oz, so
Gotcha.
I'll give that one a go. Movie recommendations. I'm going on this movie. I'm going with Amy Adams, my favorite Amy Adams, The Master by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
And Scoot McNairy. I'm going for my favorite Scoot McNairy movie. If anybody really has one of those. I do.
Scoot's all right. He's just not my
He's
cup
just
of tea.
He's a character actor, isn't he? He's been in so much. You've seen him. You've definitely seen him.
Something, I don't know what it is. I saw him in Monsters. You never watched that one.
I've seen clips of it.
Okay.
All right, I'm giving you my favorite Scoot McNairy.
Okay.
I mean, he's in it. He's not the star. It's Argo.
Don't remember him in that.
Directed by Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah, I know what.
Argo, fuck yourself.
Oh, God.
That is a line
That
from
is
the
a
movie.
line from the movie, yeah.
Very good movie. I really was enthralled by that story. So, yeah, that's my Scoot McNairy movie. It's not really his movie, but you see what I'm saying.
No. And mine are, I'm going back through all the movies I've ever seen that I've ever added to my watch list on IMDb, the site that you take for granted. And I picked horror. So it's all generations of all horror since the beginning of cinema, because I do have movies on there from the very beginning. And I'm starting with the most recent movies we've seen that are tagged as horror, which some of these are question marks for me. And then I'm moving my way back through time. So by the end of the year, I should be back at the beginning of the 20th century, but we'll see how it goes. I usually run out before then. So I have The Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
That was recent. Kinds of Kindness is listed as a horror movie. So I had to kind of reach on that one, but I liked Kinds of Kindness.
Very good.
Long Legs, Tarot, which we both hated.
Long Legs was excellent, by the way.
Long Legs, and then I've got that followed up by Tarot, which is
terrible.
Our worst movie of the year, I think, for both of us.
Yes.
But I've seen it, and I'm telling you, and if you want to be like me, you're going to watch all these movies. And then I saw the TV Glow.
I really liked
which
that.
I really enjoyed, yeah.
That was very Twin Peaksy and weird and dreamlike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Very nice.
Was it?
All right, A Scully stuff. I've been playing a new game on the PlayStation 5 called Stellar Blade. You've seen a little bit of this, Sid Doc.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new Sony game. Well, they actually, it's not a Sony, well, it is a Sony first-party game. Another company made it, and then they bought the company. So it's one of those things. It's a Japanese, I would say it's similar to, if you played the game Nier Automata, it's similar to that. It's a little bit Dark Souls, light. You basically it explains at the beginning. She's some kind of like android robot lady. The world, it's one of those scenarios, like the world's been battered to hell and taken over by these creatures. And these ladies...
A tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time. These sexy robot ladies, I would call them, sent in like these little squads to go and clean up the world. And they're kind of dispensable, you know, like they can just die. It doesn't matter. They keep sending them in these drop ships. So
well, that seems rude.
Yeah. You happen to be one of them called Eve, and your helper is called Adam. You know, it's not...
Got it.
It's not rocket science what's going on here. And you're going around. You've got a move set that you can do. You've got slashes with a sword. You've got a gun. You know, it's like also like Bayonetta, if you've played that game. You're not familiar with any of these games. I'm just saying it to the audience. So you're going around and you're cleaning up these areas. And it's got this Dark Souls kind of twist to it where whenever you go to a save point, it resets the entire game where all the enemies are. So if you clear out all the enemies, but keep going, the enemies will never come back. But as soon as you save your game, all the enemies in the entire game come back. So it's about trying not to save very often to make your life easier. But you've only got a certain amount of health, and you have to save to get your health back. So it's got this like, it's pretty tense. Like you're out in the desert, there's loads of enemies. You've took a bunch out, and then you get to one, and he's really difficult, and he takes your health right down, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to go and save because now I'm going to have to fight them all again, you know? But fighting them all again levels you up. So it's like this back and forth of like, do I save? Don't I save? It's got this cool story to it. It's beautiful to look at. Would you say that?
Yeah, it looks very nice.
It's highly sexualized with the main character. So one of the collectibles in the game is you collect outfits for your lady and hairstyles as well. So it's got that Japanese anime thing to it, because the outfits that you're collecting, I would say, are barely outfits, right? The kind of...
Well, she's fairly covered, and yet her body is very... on
display all the time.
Yeah.
It's like that. So it's called Stellar Blade. It's on the PS5 exclusively.
Now, when you say Stella, you're saying stellar, like a stellar blade, just so if people are looking.
Yes, Stellar.
Right. I'm just pointing out.
It's a stellar blade. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Your British accent can be challenging, so I'm just clarifying for people.
And it's a really fun game. I played games like this before. Don't be afraid when I said it's like Dark Souls, because Dark Souls is renowned as being one of the hardest games out there. It's like Dark Souls light. It's nowhere near as hard as that.
Okay.
I wouldn't be playing it if it was that hard. So, yeah, it's a fun romp. I don't know what's going to happen. That's good. The story is cool. Sid Talk, what's for dinner?
I've decided I'm going to make, I think, some rice and beans. I don't want to go out. It's been snowing. We have snow. It might be melted by the time we're done here, but I just don't want to go out and push my car. We've decided since I retired from my job, we're no longer shoveling snow. And so the driveway, our garage is the back of our house. So you have.
Well, I would have shoveled snow. It's just I have a bad wrist.
Yeah, and I'm opposed to it now because I don't have to go to work. So I just pulled the car out the other day in about 7-8 inches of snow, maybe more, because it was dragging on the bottom of my little green Fiesta. And I just basically pushed my car through the snow, and then I kind of gave it a bit of gas at the end of the driveway where, of course, the big pile from the blades had piled up. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to, either I'm going to get stuck, I'm going to plow through it. And I just, and then I kind of slid out into the street kind of crooked. It was great. Today, I'm not feeling that. So we're just going to have whatever we've got.
Sita, what's your advice?
My advice. It's not really advice. It's just an observation. So grief has no barrier, has no little box that it can sit in, or big box. It's not contained, right? It's not something that you tame it or you domesticate it. See what I did there? Wrapped it in there with it. There's no rules here about being sad or grieving loss of anything. Then again, there's also no rules about recovering from your grief and finding happiness again. You know, if you're convinced that there's limits to either one of these things because of the other thing, like it's one or the other, well, you're wrong. Sadness isn't less real because you allow yourself, and it is allowing, because I see it in people, I feel it in my own self. When you start to feel a happy feeling or a joyful thing layered with the grief of loss, because like I said, my mother just passed away a couple months ago, you instantly feel a little bit guilty and you feel like, oh, that's not right. I'm not supposed to be happy and feel bad. I can't be happy. You know, my mother's life is done. That's rude. I'm being rude. I'm being terrible. No, it's a bunch of bullshit. It doesn't make my sadness less real or valid just because I feel joy and happiness. And the same goes the other way. Being happy and feeling good, it's not an insult to your broken heart. It isn't like going, oh, see, you're just over-dramatizing, stupid broken heart. You shouldn't be sad. Look, there's happy things in the world. Get over it. No, it's not like that. People like to pick one or the other of everything so they can pick a side and have these wars about shit. Here's the reality. Everything is layered on top of each other. And so if literally in a span of a 60-second moment of my life, I have like, oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God, that makes me so sad. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. It makes me happy. Oh my God, that makes me feel like, it makes me remember things that make me really sad. Oh, thank you so much for my nice cup of tea. That makes me happy. That can happen. It's not just like, oh, I started the beginning of this minute being sad, and so no matter what happens, I have to remain sad. Like, it doesn't work like that. So, but then again, I can't make rules for you either. So,
well said.
Yeah, it's kind of jumbled, but you get the vibe.
All right, ascully.com, that's the place you can go to get this podcast. You can also go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're on there, ascully and Sid Talk. You can also go to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, anywhere that podcasts are available. Email feedback to me, ascully@ascully.com. Do not email Sid Talk. She doesn't want any of your emails. And stay classy, Amy Adams. You were still classy, even though I hated your film.
And I'm going to say, think for yourselves, because if you're not doing it, someone's doing it for you.